All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the session regarding XR solutions in Finland. And today we have a very interesting line of speakers. We will kick it off with Mika Koskinen, the ambassador of Finland in New York, and then we'll have Tero Kuittinen coming in, telling more about the accelerator happening in New York regarding XR. And then we'll jump on to individual companies presenting here, which are 360 Media House, Zoan, 3D Bear, and Immersal. And then in the very end, we'll split the group into breakout rooms, so you can jump on and have a further discussions with the company you desire. All right. So first off, welcome to 360 Media House in Espoo in Finland. My name is Henrik Helin, and I'm the founder and CEO of 360 Media House, and I'll be telling more about myself and us in our pitch, but I'll be moderating the event today. All right, so let's move on to the first speaker, and for each speaker, we would like to present our feature of a 360 photo. So as you see on the background, now you see a beautiful render of Helsinki, and it's made by Zoan, and Zoan will also be telling more about their productions during their pitch. But you can go ahead and click and drag the image and just look around as wherever you wish to view. All right. So, but the next speaker, like I mentioned, our Finnish ambassador Mika Koskinen from Consul General of Finland in New York, and I'm going to go ahead and invite Mika to the stage. Thank you.
Good afternoon from New York. I would like to warmly welcome you all to our one-hour seminar on extended reality solutions for businesses and education in the new normal, which we are proud to host together with the City of Helsinki and Kuittinen Consulting. Finnish government has made a substantial investment in virtual reality industry over the past few years. Business Finland, the Finnish trade promotion organization, has funded dozens of XR companies. Among the most notable is Varjo, which has created the most high-definition VR visor in the world, utilizing technology that detects the direction of the eye. Last year, we had the first Finnish XR incubator here in New York, and two companies presenting their project today were part of that program, Zoan and 3D Bear. Both of them have signed up important international customers over the past year, including the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum here in New York. 2020 has been a challenging year everywhere in the world. In New York, the mayor's office reached out to foreign missions with a request to support the city in the midst of the pandemic. The Consulate General of Finland in New York presented New York City with a variety of the edtech solutions for distance learning, including one of the presenting companies, 3D Bear. Besides schools, also businesses are pondering how to navigate through this transition to the new normal, how to engage new audiences, or how to educate new employees. Today, we will hear 4 exciting examples of how XR can be of support in these challenging times. Finland was at the forefront of the mobile technology revolution in the 90s, and also with Nokia. One of our national priorities is to build a similar leadership position in the nascent virtual and augmented reality industries. We hope you find the companies presenting their work today interesting. Thank you once more for joining us.
Thank you, Ambassador Mika Koskinen in New York. And next up, we'll have Tero Kuittinen coming in on stage. And Tero, like I mentioned, we'll be discussing regarding the XR accelerator happening in New York. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Tero Kuittinen on stage.
Hello, and welcome to all the attendees. My name is Tero Kuittinen, and I've been having these Finnish XR events in New York for 4 years now, with hosts like Samsung and Deloitte and so forth. And this is the first time we are having a virtual version, which is an adventure. I want to give warm thanks to the Consulate General and the City of Helsinki for sponsoring this. This is a tremendously exciting year for Finnish virtual reality industry. We are kicking off an accelerator in December with Microsoft and Warner Media, both of whom have opened new XR centers in Manhattan. So this is an opportunity for the Finnish industry to really get up to speed with what the leading corporations are doing with VR and AR and what the future plans are. And actually today, 2 of our companies presenting are alumni from last year's Finnish XR Accelerator, which took place at New York City Media Lab and NYU. So without further ado, thanks a lot for attending, and let's kick off with our companies. Thank you.
Thank you, Tero. So next up, I'll be actually presenting on stage myself. So I'll be presenting 360 Media House and what we have to offer for the XR industry. So yes, in 360 Media House, we are basically aiming to make VR an everyday utility. What that means is basically we want to have the tools ready to use for any technical levels of expertise. And yeah, that's basically our core. Like you see here, we have solutions for professionals and even children also. So what 360 Media House, what's our story? We started off in 2015. We actually discovered VR and then 360 photography and videography, and we actually right away clicked that there's something between those new innovations, and there's something in common with those two. And then we started discovering like what different options you have, what different stories you can tell, wherever you can take the stories to. And then on 2017, we actually started developing our own platform, because we very soon realized there's actually no easy to use tools for telling and creating these stories. So that's when we started developing 360 Editor, which is our cloud-based service. And 2019 was the next big jump step for us, and that was actually live streaming an actual VR event with a 360 camera. And then yeah, that was basically what was happening in practice. Was we had a project with Aalto University executive education, and we actually had a 360 camera at their classroom, and we had students all the way up to Singapore and New Zealand. They were wearing headsets, and they were actually feeling and real time actually living the environment here in Helsinki. So that was very, very big step for us. And overall, our mission is to pretty much make VR a part of everyday life. So now let's jump into 360 Editor and what we are trying to build and enable people to use. So basically, it's an online platform. You log on. It's basically like a YouTube. You log on with your credentials, and then you upload your content, your 360 content, or even 2D content within your account. And then you can go ahead and start editing those environments. You can insert teleporting. You can insert additional information popping up wherever the user wishes to see them. So actually, it's like an interactive media in general. And like mentioned, it's cloud-based, so it's always live. You make an adjustment, it's live right away in all VR goggles that are viewing the environment. So easy to use, versatile, cloud-based, and it's always ready to edit. Even with your cell phone, you can go ahead and make adjustments to it. And I'll be telling more about new features like gamification in a short while, but we're very excited to announce all these features for you. So yeah, here's a short clip of actually how to assemble a VR environment with 360 Editor. And like you see, here is an example of a museum. And then you can go ahead and just choose and upload media from your computer, from your external drive. And then you choose media which you wish to modify. And here is pretty much the editing screen. Then here we are adding a new button, which has a 2D image in it. Just add button and it appears in your canvas. And you can go ahead and click and drag it wherever you wish to see it. And of course, you're able also to add background audio to make it more immersive within. So yeah, quick 1-minute tutorial. So just that easy to use. And there we go. Just last preview what we just did. There we go. Excellent. Then we jump onto our more live stream product, which is 360 lectures we're in right now. So basically, what we want to create is an alternative online course option from other conference calls or so forth. And we're making this more of like one person is actually making the presentation, was it the presenter, teacher, so forth, and they're actually having the stage and having their, there we go, this side, they're having their slides, their screen share, even their 360 photos in the background. So we're bringing in features that emphasize the pedagogical aspect of actually online learning. And yeah, there we also have like asking for floor. If a student has a question, they can raise their hand. And yeah, all these features we're bringing in and constantly developing new ones just to bring more tools to the teachers. And yeah, here is in the packages. 360 Editor is a service as a software as a service product. You actually get to order and then paid monthly, and our prices start from $300 a month for individuals and $900 for schools, which has a actual packaging of different features. And 360 lectures, it starts from 10 cents a minute, so we rather not go for the big package. It's just a paper use. That's what we like to go for. And 360 Media Player is actually our application for outputting all these content in 360 Editor or 360 Lectures. It's downloadable right now from Oculus, from Android, from Google Play, so Android devices, and also WebGL interface. 360 Player, 360mediaplayer.com, and we're constantly bringing new ones. HTC coming up, and also Apple devices as well. So it's very multi-platform usability in all the content. And then here's a quick slide about regarding what we bring to schools. So basically, 360 Editor can be given to students or teachers. Both of them, they're able to interact and create VR environments, and also teaching in 360 Lectures to bring everyone in, and also even using these virtual environments within the lectures. That's also possible. And then here's a very interesting case we did with the University of Turku. It's actually a project regarding 3D printing. So the student is able to jump in and out of different locations, seeing different professionals, seeing what kind of projects you can do with 3D printing. And within the course, we were able to add in additional screens to emphasize the information they have in use. So pretty much there is no limit to wherever you wish to take the content to, wherever pretty much you're able to take the 360 camera with you. And as you can see on 360 Editor, you're able to add buttons to your surrounding, including different types of media content within. All right, then let's jump into the next case, which is another VR streaming case we did for an elderly home in Finland. And this was actually, in Turku, Finland, and it's actually done based on 5G technology. So both the camera and the goggles were both connected to a 5G network, and that's how this was enabled. Very interesting projects as well. And then our last case is regarding emergency rescue learning, and here is basically what I was telling about gamification. So we bring actual 3D games into an actual real life 360 video, and that becomes very immersive to the viewer as they're actually feeling that like they're there, and then they get all these different tools around them. Like you saw, it was like the defibrillator was the first task, and here is the mission is to actually put down a fire and see what else needs to be done in the environment. So like as you can see here, there's right answers, wrong answers, and then the student proceeds. And in the very end, there's a fire extinguisher training here as well. So in the actual real life environment, there's a 3D fire, which the student then puts out with their 3D fire extinguisher. And we're very proud of these features, and these are the features we're bringing into 360 editor users as well. And to the end, here's our team right now. Currently, our team is 9 persons strong, and we're constantly growing. And we have, of course, in-house developers and a very good board of advisors to help us move along. All right, here's my information. If you wish, you can go ahead and grab a screenshot of it or something if you have further discussions and questions. And like mentioned in the beginning, we're having breakout rooms for each company in the end of the event. So feel free to ask any questions you desire. Thank you very much. And then our next speaker will be Antti Lähtevänoja from Zoan. And basically, Zoan is a leading European XR studio based in Helsinki. Award-winning company keeps transforming industries by creating real-time digital twins and virtual experiences, like you saw in the beginning of Helsinki.
Hello everyone, my name is Antti Lähtevänoja and I'm the head of education at Zoan. And Zoan is a leading VR studio in Europe, and we are based in Helsinki, Finland. And we have also offices and sales in Japan, in Tokyo, then in the Netherlands, in the States, and Sydney. And we have a big office in Belo Horizonte, Brazil as well. We are in total of over 100 professionals working on the leading and cutting edge technology with the game engine based 3D and technologies like artificial intelligence and game engines. We have been working in this field for 10 years now, started from the real estate modeling and now expanded to have the education on board and marketization and also browser-based experiences. Some of our selected clients include Facebook, Microsoft, Universal Music, Warner Music Group, and Epic Games. Okay, and let's start with the cases. So first of all, we have done some projects to Finnair, and we have been building their digital twin for quite some time now. And the digital twin is from the Helsinki-Vantaa airport. And the same 3D model is used to train situational awareness and do some ground training, ground personal training. So how to support the ground functions of an airplane, for example, fill the gasoline and stuff like that. Then we can also include real-time data visualization to these 3D models. So in our digital twin of the airport, we are able to have the real condition weather there at the same time. So we can train situations as they are in real life. Some of the use cases of this digital twin include a virtual training platform for Finnair Flight Academy. And for this training simulator, we made a digital twin of a Airbus A321 airplane. And the flight personnel can train where to find the emergency equipment on board and how to do the emergency door opening and stuff like that. And Finnair is actually able to save costs while they are using this virtual training because they don't have to organize the real plane visits, because the real plane visits are quite hard to organize because you need to keep the plane there on the ground in order for the students to visit there. Of course, during the COVID-19 time, that's not a problem, but in normal cases, that would be a problem, because in an optimal situation, the airplanes would always be in the sky, of course. Then other cases for Tampere University and for the European Consortium of Innovative Universities, SAU, we made this virtual university. So this virtual university is a virtual environment where students and teachers from other universities in Europe can join to the same space. They are able to meet, hold presentations and browse web pages. They are able to interact with different 3D models. They are able to import custom 3D models, and they can visit together in various environments. And this experience is focused on the emerging challenges like sustainability and climate change. So, for example, you are able to visit Antarctica there, and after that, see how the glaciers are melting, or then you are able to visit, for example, the coastside cities and see how the rising of the sea level will soon make quite bad things to these cities. And this is a very exciting project, and we are now in beta stage, and the first delivery will be had in next summer. And it will be done to Oculus Guest standalone VR headsets. So educational institutions are able to use this without massive investments to the technology. As you know, the Oculus Guest 2s only cost around $400. So it's pretty good for the educational institutes. Then, speaking about Antarctica, I would like to just showcase very briefly our Antarctica environment. And we made this environment to showcase the climate change in an immersive way. So with this environment, students are able to visit Antarctica as like in a virtual field trip. So when you jump into the VR glasses, you're able to observe what it's like to be in the Antarctica and visit the research center there and actually see the climate change. So we are like visualizing the greenhouse effect with the large sun and its sun rays going to the ground and bouncing back to the atmosphere, and the greenhouse gases stops that. And then we are able to compare different transportation methods and different foods. So students are able to practically test the climate change and learn about it while researching and studying. So this kind of supports the new curricula and new methods of learning, where the teacher or the learning environment is not anymore just for transferring information from the teacher's head to the student, but it's more like that the student is in the center and student will study things themselves and learn that way, and are able to teach them critical reading skills and other skills which are very helpful in nowadays world. Okay, those were some of the cases. Please contact me if you have any questions or ideas or comments. Again, shortly about myself. I'm doing a dissertation or PhD about learning in virtual reality. And my primary study focus is on how we can make good VR learning environments. What design elements there needs to be, how the information should be delivered in order for the students to learn things actually. So I'm doing my dissertation in Finland, but I'm quite happy to share the results to the States as well. We have been cooperating with the universities in the States as well. But yeah, that was my short, brief introduction. You can take a screenshot of my contact details there, or join me later in the breakout room. Thanks again.
Excellent. Thank you, Antti. Next up, we'll have Mitch Weisburgh from 3D Bear. Mitch is the Chief Operating Officer of 3D Bear US, and he will tell more about the 3D Bear's 3D platform. And basically 3D Bear provides a tool for learning higher order skills via 3D design in augmented reality. Their solutions have been developed in Finland, the best educational system in the world.
My name is Mitch Weisburgh, and I'm US based for 3D Bear. And what I'd like to stress for 3D Bear is that we're working on vocational learning. In the US, in high school, we call this career and technical education. And we're working with schools, and we're also working in corporations to design interactions for students to learn, both in augmented reality and in virtual reality. So 3D Bear has been in existence for about 4 years. We've been in the US by 2.5 years. We were recognized by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We've been recognized by Education Alliance Finland as a certified provider of high quality pedagogical materials. In the US, there's an organization called Common Sense Media that teachers and schools rely on to find resources that are top quality. We are a top pick for learning from them. We're recognized by Google for Education. We're New York State, and a little bit of work in Mississippi with schools, and a ton of work in Finland around vocational schools. So I'll just show a few of the different things that we've done. In this case, in interior design, the students are working on a blank space, and they're tasked with how would you design this space in order to fit a certain job description or a certain room description. And so they create their scenes in augmented reality, and then they send them to the teacher, who marks them up and sends them back, and then the students can adjust their scenes. And we find that with this type of engagement, the students really are able to do more and do more rapidly. They're gaining work and life skills. It's really individualized because they're working on the things that they care about. It's decreased costs because they're not building anything out of real materials. They're building it in augmented reality. They're learning how to use 3D technologies, which is a key ICT skill for this century. And in these times where students are not necessarily able to come into the classroom, or they're not able to go into workplaces, this is augmented reality and virtual reality are ideal mechanisms for remote learning. So here's an example that we've done in augmented reality. This takes place in a factory, and you'll see as the images go back and forth here on the screen that students walk into this virtual factory, and all of a sudden alarms are going, and they have to figure out what's wrong with the factory before it explodes. So they learn how to use the different types of equipment that the factory has. They learn the different dashboards that the factory offers throughout the factory, and they learn how to troubleshoot the factory. And if they don't learn in time, the factory explodes. Now, in real life, it would be hard to, you'd go through an awful lot of factories if every time a student made a mistake, the factory exploded. But by offering this type of operation in virtual reality, we can allow students to make mistakes. And as we all know, you learn even more from your mistakes as you learn from real life. And the students love it because sometimes they'll deliberately go and they'll deliberately mess up just to see what happens. So we're really bringing the joy back to learning. We're making learning easily accessible, and we're allowing students to learn either at a school, at a company, at a factory, or wherever they happen to be. Here's another case where we've gone into an organization that trains healthcare workers and counselors and train them how to do their job using augmented and virtual reality. This happens to be a virtual reality situation where the students go into a halfway house and they find different elements of the house that don't comply with safety regulations. They have difficult interactions with the residents. They learn how to respect the residents' rights. And then they learn how to spend time with the residents in a meaningful and humane way. And these are the types of things that you really can't allow students to go into a home and make mistakes, but in virtual reality and augmented reality, we can afford to let them try different things out and really to perfect their skills. We're working with a virtual data center, and we're training the workforce how to go into the data center, how to recognize where the problems are, how to perform routine maintenance, and how to do first level support. And again, the students don't actually have to go into the factory this way. They can be working on a simulation of the factory and solving real problems. And then we've worked with artists. In this case, we're working with the Virtual Arts Academy, and we've trained the teachers at the Academy to train the students how to do 3D scans of their artwork, and then how to do virtual exhibitions virtually anywhere. So they can create things in real life, scan them, and then have a virtual exhibit in the library or a virtual exhibit in the park using their scannings of their 3D artwork. And this is teaching the kids not just the art itself, but also the tech skills that they're really going to be needing as they go out into the workforce. Here on the left is the library. There's a different challenge each week. So students come into the library, they're faced with a challenge, they have to go into the space, and then they have to build some challenge in that space, and then those challenges then go to the teachers. Or on the right, in a culinary institute, we're teaching students how to, using augmented reality, how to set a really nice looking table, how to set up meals so that they're visually appealing. In forestry, we're teaching the students how to do different types of cuts or different types of plantings. So again, this is something that you can't do in real life, because you can't cut down all the trees in the forest and say, oops, I should have cut them a different way. But in augmented reality or virtual reality, you can do a virtual cut, show it to the teacher, and the teacher can say you're using a different pattern, or you're cutting down the wrong types of trees, or you're planting the wrong types of trees. And I think we have a video here of how that's done. So using an augmented reality program, here's a forest, and the students are taking out the individual trees. And in fact, the students can also add other trees as they're going through this. So this is the type of thing that we can work with an individual school and their teachers and set up simulations for exactly what the school wants to teach the teachers. And in the process, the students are learning their job skills. They're doing it with hands-on learning. Because there aren't real items that they have to build, it's less costly, and they can do it really, really fast. So here's a quote by Teppo Valteristo of Keuda. When I don't need to build everything physically and I can use virtual materials, the work becomes 10% more effective, and he saves thousands of euros for every single course. And I'm just going to leap ahead for a second. The process that we go through with a school typically takes anywhere from 2 to 10 weeks. Here's a 7-week program where we meet with the school over the first 2 weeks to design what they're going to be doing. We build it and pilot it over the second stage, and then we get feedback and refine it over the third stage. So this process for this school took about 7 weeks for us to meet with them, decide what interactions we and they were going to co-develop, develop the interactions, have them practice, teach them, and then make sure that they could build others. And we find that this process is very economical for schools and companies, because you can get started and design your activities for as low as $10,000. So if you think about what it costs generally to develop a full virtual world or objects in augmented reality or virtual reality, it's generally a lot more and takes a lot more time. But in this, say 7-week time frame, the cost might be $11,000 for a school to get started, and for their teachers then to be trained in how to develop interactions on their own. So If this is something that interests you, if you know of companies that want to be taught how to develop interactions in augmented reality or virtual reality, you can contact me at mitch@3dbear.io. We have a large team in Finland who are developing both in augmented reality and virtual reality. And then I'll be in my room also. So thank you for your time, and thank you for putting this together.
All right, thank you, Mitch. Next up, we'll have Immersal. Anttoni Vesterinen is the CEO of Immersal. Immersal SDK is a tool for programmers enabling AR in any app. It is a 3D mapping and visual positioning solution for markerless, persistent, battery-friendly, massive, multi-user ready AR.
Immersal is about creating and sharing a localizing digital twin with your device, and localizing is an additional word to what you already heard from Zoan, as they spoke about creating these for virtual reality. We provide and create and enable sharing and creating the localizing digital twin for augmented reality. You may have seen already parts of this video, which I'm showing here, but repetition is new learning. So the process is taking images with the Immersal mapper of the surrounding that you want to create as augmented reality space. And then you send the images to a cloud service, which then creates the localizing digital twin. That localizing digital twin is then brought into Unity or Unreal Engine to be added with the objects and features that you want to present. And then you just publish the application and open it on your device, whether a smartphone or AR glasses, and enjoy the gaming features or the indoor navigation and other AR functionality that has been put together there. The product that we are selling is AR at 5G, and in a matter of saving a little bit time, I'll go just very fast, is where you could use the localizing digital twin for AR experiences, obviously public spaces, your airports, shopping malls, libraries, etc., augmenting them. And there's case studies about that. Entertainment in large crowds is definitely an area which is a case for 5G. We have a case study for AR glasses to be interoperated with your handsets. Industrial, of course, is an important area to work with, which then we have case studies on the industrial clients as well, like the Caverian. And then the biggest and far-reaching case is obviously mapping the whole environment where we live and interact with other people, and then have the community working with the space that surrounds us. Hybrid navigation is one of the examples. The product itself, AR at 5G, is packaging the cloud service that we provide for developers into an easy to install, easy to maintain container to be applied to mobile edge computing units, and then scaled up to provide the localization and the map sharing functionalities to the mobile operators. We have close to 2,000 registered users and are in commercial service with Verizon in the US as our newest large client. And I'll be happy to answer any questions now or then later on in the breakout room. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Anttoni from Immersal. And now, to conclude this session, thanks for joining in, and thank you for City of Helsinki and also Council of New York for hosting us. Thank you very much for joining in. You can go ahead, click on the exit lecture, and jump in to the breakout rooms of the company you desire. All right, over now from Espoo, Finland. See you later.